Hello and welcome to another episode of 21 Disciplines for Success.
Yes! It's exciting to know that there are just a few disciplines in life we need to master that will then make us masters of life itself. And it's really, really great to get a chance to be sharing this with you.
Absolutely. And in this series, we'll be looking at the 21 disciplines that Bola and I have used to live and fulfill our destiny, so to speak. You know, these are the fundamental building blocks, disciplines in our lives that we implement on a daily basis that we hope will be a value to you. And in our previous episode, we talked about the discipline of meditation.
Yes.
So today, we are going to be talking about the discipline of accountability. All right? But before we go ahead, if this is a blessing to you, we want to hit that notification bell as well as subscribe to this channel so you can get new videos every time we drop one in. All right?
Yeah.
So accountability. All right? This is just one subject matter people tend to just
shy away
from it.
Yeah.
We don't want to hold ourselves accountable
to anybody.
and that is simply because sometimes we think that being accountable or being accountable to someone means giving up our control. All right. So today we're going to be sharing with you the values of accountability.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that we need to understand about accountability is not a system set in place to curtail you.
No.
But it's something that you put in place to help you to be a better person in every way possible. I think making sure that you give the key of your life personally to somebody in a way to hold you accountable. And that is the thing, understanding that it is not trying to force you to go back into school system or have a school headmistress system.
On the contrary, I think accountability is being able to explain your actions.
Yeah.
Being able to be open.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think because of the whole concept of being of holding yourself accountable or being open and explain your actions, and that's where the fear of holding yourself accountable comes from. You think that, well, okay, because I'm holding myself accountable, I can no longer be myself, and which is far from it.
Right. Yeah, that's not right at all. You can always be yourself. I think one of the best things about being in a community, particularly if you're part of a church, is the church system itself is set up from scriptures. If you look at church generally, it's set up for you to be accountable, because you cannot run the race of life alone. You will make many mistakes, and you will learn from your own mistake or attempt to learn from your mistake, and that's a very expensive way of living. If I remember that Eddie usually says something, it says that many of us want freedom, but freedom is a very expensive thing because you can misuse your freedom. So you can set accountability in place to help you so you don't misuse your freedom.
Absolutely. I think the fact is that the fact that you are free means that it gives you nobody can check you. And that means that if you're on the wrong path, you can easily you can find yourself in a position where you just struggle to recover from a set of action or decisions. Whereas if you hold yourself accountable, there will be this second voice, that can say, well, you know what? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let us number one. I want to look at 4 ways to implement accountability.
Yep.
4 ways to implement accountability. Number 1. Consider the value of becoming accountable. All right? You consider the value of becoming accountable. Like, we all have blind spots.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. We have blind spots. So by being accountable, I will gain insight by being accountable. I cannot be the judge, the jury, and the
executioner of your life.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So consider the value of being accountable by just looking at considering the fact that you have a blind spot. All right, and sometimes your blind spot can cost you. Wow. So life is short. So
yeah, very, very true. I think in addition to that is to look at asking yourself a clear question. All right, what if I'm not accountable? what exactly is the reason why I don't want to be accountable? Because sometimes you really need to stop and think and ask yourself, okay, why don't I want to be accountable? Why do I want to stay isolated? Why do I want to stay this way? If somebody else can add value to me with accountability and they can help me see my blind spot, what will I be missing if I don't go down that route? Ask yourself that question objectively. You know, the beauty of accountability, it's a choice you make, but it's also a benefit to experience personally. So ask yourself, what if I don't do it? What will it cost me? Be very objective as you answer that question, because it will help you determine to set accountability in place.
Yeah, and I don't think it's bad to ask someone, what will you do if you're in my shoes? And that's one question I ask.
You ask a lot.
Every year. I have three people that I hold myself accountable to. And so, I tell them, you know what, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Yeah. And it's just, accountability just gives you that extra head.
Yes.
Gives you that extra heart, you know, so to sort of reduce your errors in life. So what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And so on the contrary, you have a lot to gain by just by gleaning other people's perspective.
Very true. Very true.
So, so I want to advise that you choose at least one other person. I prefer 3 people.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Bible says that in the midst of 2 or 3 witnesses. So I prefer 3. Yeah, I prefer 3 people. So choose 3 people that will, and in your mind, will hold you accountable for your actions. So what does that mean? We're not saying that they will doctor your decisions or try and control and manipulate you. And I think people are scared of being controlled.
I think it's a function of
manipulated. So they just won't go down the route of accountability.
Yeah, I think because some people think, well, you know what, my mom has dictated what I'll do all my life. My dad has told me what to do. Now I'm an adult. I don't want anybody to dictate for me what I need to do next. But the job of an accountability partner is not to dictate for you what you need to do next. It's your choice. It's your life. You can live it as you like, but get extra help along the way is what we're saying.
Yes. And the criteria for choosing these people, make sure they make sure they practice confidentiality. Make sure they have integrity.
Yeah.
Make sure they have results. Yeah. Make sure they love you. Okay. One of my pastor used to say many years ago, I love you too much to leave you the way you are. You know, I love you too much to leave you the way you are. Yeah. So make sure they love you. Make sure they practice confidentiality. Make sure they have integrity. Make sure they have character, and then most importantly, make sure they have audacity. Yeah, you don't want a yes sir or for a yes sir person for accountability partner. So make sure they have audacity. In other words, these are people that will look at you eyeball to eyeball and say, well, what if you are wrong?
Yeah.
What if you are wrong? They're not afraid to call you up. In love, all right, not in criticism. No. Okay, so that's what I would say. Choose 3 people who have this trait, and then naturally approach them and say, hey, you know, I'd like to have you as my accountability partner. Can you, if I want to do anything, is it okay if I just run it by you? Just to see what your perspective or your opinion is. Yeah.
You have to always remember that you are the one that holds the key to your life. You are the one that is giving them permission to come into your life and be part of your journey. So if you say to someone, be my accountability partner, or can I hold myself accountable to you? If you don't come to them with anything, they have nothing to offer you. So always remember that. The last one there is to develop a relationship that will strengthen your grip on spiritual things. Make sure that it's somebody that you can look up to spiritually as well. I wanted to tell a little story. When we started dating Eddie and I, we decided to hold ourselves accountable. Have a listen to this. We decided to hold ourselves accountable to another couple that was similar to us, way older than us, but they were a cross-cultural relationship as well. So we hold ourselves accountable to them. We make sure we go to visit them. When we want to spend time together, we spend time together. in their company. They didn't ask us to do that. We chose to do that. You know why? We wanted to make sure that we don't sabotage our future. We don't make mistakes as singles that are on a journey. So we made sure we spend time with them. We ask them questions when we're confused about anything. We ask them, and when we want to, we just make sure that, and we told them, we gave them the opportunity to also ask us sudden questions, just to make sure. Are you doing the wrong thing? Are you having sex? Are you misbehaving? So that they can stop us on our track. And I'm really grateful. It was a very worthwhile relationship, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now talking about that, you mentioned someone can hold you accountable and call you up. Now, the fact is, I want to draw a distinction here between accountability partner and a mentor.
They're not your mentors.
Okay, so in the next episode, we're going to talk about mentors. Okay, mentors and coaches. Okay, so that's on that discipline. We'll talk about that in the next episode. So, but we really found that relationship valuable,
very useful,
because number one, we saw they were like a model couple to us.
Yeah, they modeled what we wanted to see. Yeah,
and so we're able to hang out with them.
Yeah,
and then we gave them the permission to call us up if they think that something is not going right, and then ask us and be audacious enough to ask us certain questions that that we feel could be embarrassing, but we give them the license to ask those questions just for safeguard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it in this episode. We've just shared with you the discipline of accountability. You take this, you go think about it, and your assignment today is to choose 3 people you will hold yourself accountable to. They don't have to be your coaches or your mentors. No. So there's vertical accountability. So, for example, we are accountable to the authorities in your organization, the authorities in your church, or your elders or your seniors. You are accountable to them. There's also a horizontal accountability. So they don't have to be your coach or mentors or spiritual parents or whatnot. But you want to make sure that you have that horizontal accountability partner. People who have integrity, character, who are audacious and can, ask you freely questions that can reveal your blind spot.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, if you like this, share it. Okay. But most importantly, subscribe to this channel so you can get new notifications every time we come up with a new video. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.